Imagine you are driving in the car with your friends going on a road trip. The music is blasting, you're all singing and dancing. It's one of those moments you look back on years later and realize how much you cherish your friends. The weight of the world is off your shoulders. Time stands still and life can't get any better than this. And then you see it. A car coming from the opposite side of the highway is speeding faster and faster towards your car. There's no time to react or even think about what is going to happen. The next thing you see is black, and then red, and then black again. You try to open your eyes and move your head around to check if everyone is alive, and that's when it hits you. The excruciating pain in your abdomen. You wake up in a hospital room with machines connected to you in every different direction. There's a steady beep and pulse on a monitor. At least this validates that you're still alive. You try to move each leg, and thankfully you can feel both of them twitch. You look down and see a scar the size of a pen on your abdomen and wonder what is happening inside of your body. A doctor comes in and tells you all about what happened in the accident. The driver of the other car had a heart attack, which caused him to lose control and hit your car. The doctor also explains that your liver ruptured in the accident and that you have been put on the waiting list for a transplant. After the doctor leaves, you hear him talk to another doctor and say, "It's a shame the other driver isn't an organ donor. They were a perfect match." Your mind immediately goes through a list of what-ifs. What if the other driver was a donor? What if a liver never becomes available? What if this accident never happened? In 2013, there were 121,276 people in the United States on the waiting list for an organ transplant. 10,000 of those people are in New York alone. Every 2.5 hours, another person from New York is added to the list. In 2013, 1,176 transplants took place in New York, and only 22% of New Yorkers 18 years and older are organ donors. Last year, there were 28,000 transplants in the U.S., and another 1 million people received cornea and tissue transplants. This seems like a lot, but it is not enough. 18 people die each day waiting for an organ. That means all of these people on the screen right now will die today waiting for an organ. There are a variety of organs and other tissues that can be donated. The major organs include kidneys, heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, and intestines. The tissues consist of veins, corneas, heart valves, middle ear, bone, skin, cartilage, tendons, and ligaments. There are several myths associated with becoming an organ donor. One of the biggest is that doctors will not try as hard to save your life if you are a registered organ donor. Doctors are required to do everything in their power to keep a patient alive until they are brain dead or they are unable to be resuscitated, whether they are a donor or not. Another myth is that your family will be charged for the transplants if your organs are donated. This is completely false. All of the money required to do the transplants are paid for by the transplant's recipients, not your family. The only thing your family is required to pay for is the medical procedures that are done to you alone. A final myth is that you cannot be too old or too young to become an organ donor. This is also false. After someone passes away, it is the doctor's decision whether their organs can be donated. If an 80-year-old has stayed healthy their whole life and their organs are strong enough to be transplanted, there is no reason they won't. The history of organ donation started in the 1960s when the first successful lung, pancreas, and liver transplants took place. Then, in 1984, Congress passed the National Organ Transplant Act to monitor ethical issues and address the country's organ shortage. The law established a centralized registry for organ matching. This is Matt Heisler. He passed away from being trapped inside of a house during a fire. 5 years earlier, Matt had registered to become an organ donor. More than 60 people were helped because of it. One of those people was Tom Weeks, a Vietnam War veteran who needed a new heart because of a rare disease he was diagnosed with. Matt's family got the opportunity to meet with Tom and his wife to hear Matt's heart beat again. This is a picture of Matt's sister listening to her brother's heart after thinking she would never hear it again. This is what organ donation has the power to do. It brings people together in the most intimate ways to help continue several people's lives. Now, how can you become an organ donor if you aren't already one? When you get your driver's license or renew it, you can designate that you are an organ donor. You can also choose which organs you want to donate. It doesn't need to be all of them. You just check off the box if you want them all or check individual organs that you would like to donate. You also have the opportunity to register online with your state to be an organ donor. This is the registration site for New York State. You can access it by going to liveonnewyork.org. You do not need to have a New York State ID to sign up. You can just follow the instructions on the website regarding which ID you have. Your family can also serve as an advocate for you if you become an organ donor, or tell them that you want to be one. If you designate that you are one, your family may be asked to provide consent for donation and provide personal information with the transplant team. So make sure you discuss all of this with your family so everyone is on the same page. There isn't much time. Every 10 minutes, someone else gets put on the waiting list for an organ. They'll join the almost 122,000 people that are already waiting for an organ that they most likely will never receive, unless you do something about that. Becoming an organ donor gives others the opportunity to change their life in ways no one ever thought was possible. Let's think back to the beginning of the presentation, when you were in the hospital bed. The doctor comes in and explains that you need a liver transplant, but he also explains that the driver of the other car who had the heart attack is in fact an organ donor, and they've already done the tests and found out you are a perfect match. You will be on your way to getting a new liver and will be eternally grateful for this amazing gift the other driver has given you. Think about this the next time you decide whether to check off that little box on the driver's license registration card. You never know who could need your help. So sign up today. Give thanks, give life, donate life.